Today I'm going to be showing you a hand drill. Now this is a typical old-fashioned hand drill. These were made in the US. I think they was even made in some parts of Europe. But this one is actually a US made in the US. You can see it. Now these are pretty old. These predates electricity, most of them do. So I actually picked this one up at a junk sale for $1. And for $1 you can't really beat it. Some people ask a lot of prices for these, high prices. So we're going to show you just how well this thing works. A lot of people has resorted to electric drills, but now these old-fashioned hand drills will do the work just like a electric drill, and actually sometimes even better than a electric drill. Electric drill we generally turn at a higher RPM. Sometimes the RPMs are so high that it will not cut. It's actually just burning into the wood. So sometimes these are actually better, especially if you're doing woodworking on old furniture and antiques. You can actually just hand crank these, and I'll show you just how fast you can cut a hole by just turning it at a slow RPM. Now with a standard electric drill, it'll take you a long time just because the RPMs is so high that the drill bit overheats and it quits cutting the wood. So I'm going to show you just how well a hand drill actually works. Now this is just general general slow hand cranking. And now this drill bit that I have is actually dull, and it's actually warped, so we're having a little bit of trouble from that. But now if I had a new drill bit, we'd be able to cut a lot more. Here's the hole just from that little bit of drilling. Now you can use many different bits in it. It's just like a standard drill. Got a standard chuck. The chuck just sets onto a threaded rod, just like a threaded bolt. But you generally just got your standard gear. It's much like a gearing system in a rear axle of an old car. But it's very smooth. I don't have a good drill bit, but you can actually cut pretty deep. This drill bit is actually bent, which is giving me some problems. Now this drill bit's been bent from electric drill. You can see how bent it is and warped. But it will still cut. But it doesn't take much force if you've got a good bit. You've got a little bit of arm power. Now when it hits the bent part, it starts seizing up on me. But you can see just how well it works. We're going to chuck up another bit and see if we can find one that's not bent, because that one's just not working. See if we can find a straight bit that'll work. generally these drill bits today is not the quality of drill bits that they used to be. You can buy drill bits today and use them 2 days and they're already bad. This one's got a warp in it also. Seems all these drill bits is that's how one works. If you got really good drill bits, you'll be able to drill a lot better. I like these. You don't have to worry about cords, finding plug-ins, or hunting batteries. As long as you got 2 hands, you've got a drill. You can see these. This one's not as warped as bad as the other ones, but most of the drill bits is warped from electric drills. As soon as you hit something hard, they'll bend on you. But these drills work perfect if you're just needing to drill out a small spot or something. Drill all kinds of holes. Different bits will work different on these. Some of these cheap universal bits is just terrible. They don't cut and they don't pull the material out. The material just stays in the head of the bit, so it kind of just chews up and gets hung in there. But as long as you got good quality bits, these things work amazing. There's not much to go wrong with them. They're just a simple. Now, some of these has a shoulder rest on some of the bigger ones. But this one's just for your smaller bits. They're very efficiently made. You could, I'd say today, they could probably be made for under $10 if a person made one. This is just casted, and that's just casted, and then this is just a screw rod with a chuck on the end of it. But it works perfect. It cuts quick. The better the bit, the better you have cutting power. But in order to take the bit out of these, you don't have to have no special tools. You just clamp a hold of your little hand wheel right there and just hang on to it, and your bit comes out. But you can see how big the chuck is. It's not real big. This is for all your small work. It chucks up just like a standard drill does. You got the standard chuck. But these are really neat. If you find them real cheap and you use a drill a lot to do a lot of precision work with old furniture or old antique stuff, these hand drills are the way to go. I generally pick them up really cheap because they're more of a novelty to most people. But if you're doing special work on old furniture or really old stuff that you need to cut precise, these work a lot better because you can cut real slow. You can adjust how fast you want to cut by just turning the handle. I actually like these better than electric drill. Uh, Electric drill, you get too much RPMs on the bit, and the bit will get hot, overheat. Then you'll have trouble trying to cut whatever you're cutting. With a hand drill, you can pretty much keep it to where it's not getting too hot. The bit will stay cool because you're turning at such a slow speed. So it's doing a lot more cutting than it is just burning the bit. That's why a lot of these bits is warped. Um, they'll get a warp in them, generally about right in here. It'll warp up from where it gets hot. The steel will get so hot that it'll cause a bend in them, and that's why I don't like electric drill. So if I'm working on anything that I need a lot of precision work, that I need to cut real slow and do real good work with, I generally use a hand drill. And I generally pick these up pretty cheap. You can usually pick them up at junk sales. A lot of them stuck and froze up. The grease is hardened up, turned almost into a wax. So generally they sell them really cheap because it's a lot of work to get them clean and get them back to working smooth like this. But they're a good tool. I don't see that they're worth a whole lot unless if they're manufactured by a special tool company or something that's collectible. Generally these are not, most of them I've seen is just the standard ones with no names or anything on them. And they work fairly well. I generally use them for just cutting pegs, cutting holes for the pegs, peg work. They work good for any kind of antique furniture. Most antique furniture is softwood anyhow, so you ain't got a whole lot of resistance on the drill. But most people has forgot about these. I'm surprised that there's not anybody making these. I don't hardly see any reproductions of these. But in most small cases, these are a lot better than an electric drill. Electric drill's just too fast. You got too many RPMs on the drill. And these are a lot more cost efficient if you find them cheap enough. Find someone that's not price gouging and just needs to get rid of a bunch of old tools. You can pick these up anywhere from $1 to $5. This one you can see is actually $1. It's marked on the handle. But they're not, if you're doing a big heavy job or something, then electric drill is a lot better. If you're doing something in like concrete or some kind of real heavy steel or something like that, but just general woodworking, these little hand drills are amazing.